mean, most public policy issues that are like big deals matter to somebody, right? I mean, maybe they don't matter to everybody, but if it matters to you, like if you care anything about the environment, you'd want to say a huge amount, to try to get them to save the environment. If you think the environment is stupid and they're all a bunch of tree huggers, you want to make sure that we don't waste money on that, right? So, but Tejas's question is a good one, which is that, if this is a lot less extreme, what I just described, if it's like just you're voting. Like, should we do this or should we not do this? Not how much are you willing to pay. Because then you can't exaggerate. You can just say yes or no. You see what I mean? So that's actually one thing that works really well about voting, is it doesn't let people like exaggerate how much they care about something. So even though voting's not going to be efficient, you should keep in mind that voting actually has some nice incentive properties about it. Okay. So basically you never have an incentive to report truthfully in this situation. Either you're going to exaggerate way in favor or way against. And I think a great example of this was an article I read in The Economist. So The Economist went around and was like asking a bunch of people in Haiti after the earthquake, have you gotten like supplies from the Americans and from the United Nations? And everyone said, no, we haven't gotten anything. And then they went around to their houses, and their houses looked at these boxes and boxes of like UN delivered stuff. And they're like, why did you lie to us? And he said, well, if they realize that we're getting stuff, they're not going to send us any more stuff, right? So, that is the problem with these types of things. So, if we want to take seriously the responses that people give in these surveys, we actually have to think more carefully about the types of incentives and how we can give them incentives. So, suppose that we know the amount of private benefit created by some activity, right? Those were those marginal private benefit that we saw yesterday. And we want to determine the socially optimal amount. And imagine every person knows how much they're hurt by the activity. And so the total harm to everyone is the sum of the harm to the individual. So like in the smoking example, imagine we know how much benefit people get out of smoking, but we don't know how much each person dislikes having smoke around. And the total amount that society dislikes it is the sum of everyone's, right? How can we get people to tell the truth about how much it harmed them? Well, one approach is to just push the question back another layer, which is say, when I report that it harms me a certain amount, that hurts other people, potentially, because now they're not going to be able to smoke, or the price is going to be higher for them to smoke, or something like that, right? And if I have to pay for the externality that I cause by saying that it harms me, then I'm going to tell the truth. Because anytime I pay the externality of something I do, I'm going to do the right amount of it, right? So the question is then, what are the externalities of me saying that it hurts me that somebody smokes? Well, without me, you can think about what harms would be caused. So you can say, in the absence of my saying that the smoking hurt me at all, how much smoking would occur? And then you can say, with me saying how much it hurts me, how much smoking would occur. My externality then is the difference in everybody else's welfare from the effect that I had on how much smoking was going on. So the externality is others' welfare with me minus others' welfare without me. So let's do an example of this. In the smoking case, now imagine we're in a small room, and the value of smoking to the one smoker is 100s minus s squared, and there are two other people who's each harmed s squared plus 5s, whereas you are harmed a little bit more than that, s squared plus 10s. So what is the optimum if you say that you're not harmed by smoking at all? Edwin. Edwin Olivas? Yeah. You can come up and do it on the board if you prefer, or you can do it there, or whatever you want to do. Yeah, maybe do it on the other side because that graph we're actually going to use, so might as well leave it drawn.
So the one smoke is.
No, so that's his total value, right?
Yeah.
But you want to know his, you have to set his marginal.
Cost.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
It's just the derivative, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. You have to 6s, right? Because 4 plus 2.
Oh, yeah,
Yep, exactly right. Very well done. What is the optimum, Connie? Where's Connie? Connie, can you come show what happens if we now include the harm to you in this calculation? Great, perfect. So that's exactly what happens. The amount of smoking goes down from 15 to 10 once we include the harm to you. So what's the externality that you create? Well, it's how much value there would have been, well, to everyone else if you hadn't participated versus how much value there is to everyone else if you do participate. And Kisam?
yeah.
Could you come for this problem, compute what the externality caused by your reporting that you did? Yes? So without you, there's smoking of 15. With you, there's smoking of 10. What's the value to everyone, total value to everyone other than yourself?
So it'll be like 90 minus 15 minus 50 squared.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Now it's with including me, right?
Yeah, well, so the value to everyone else was, let's see, it's 100, so it's 110 times, sorry, no, it's 90 times 15, right?
Yeah.
Minus
50 squared.
minus 3s, minus 3 times 15 squared, right? So that's the value they get if I don't say my thing. But now imagine that I say that I get the amount of smoking down to 10, then how much value is created for them?
Just so 10, right?
Yeah. And do I have a calculator to give you to do that? Well, here's the calculation. It's 75. So everybody else loses 75. I don't even think I did this correctly.
Where did you get the 90?
This is wrong.
Where do you get the 90 from? Shouldn't it be 100? Shouldn't it be?
What? It's 100 minus 2 times 5.
Okay.
Right? Well, let's. I think I did this a slightly different way. But anyways, if anyone else wants to verify that that's correct, you can, but I think it's 75. Yeah.
Where did you get those first equations?
Okay, so this the value to the smoker is 100s minus s squared, and then you subtract the harm to the other two people, so 2 times s squared times plus 5s, right? And that's the total value to everyone other than me, right? Okay, so you pay $75, right? If you report that your true value, but you're happy to pay $75. Why? Well, what do you gain from the reduction from 15 to 10 in the amount of smoking? You save, here's what you would get if it was 15, and here's how much you lose when it's 10, and so you gain a benefit of $125 from that reduction, and so you're happy to report the harm caused to you. What I just described is called the Vickery-Clark-Groves mechanism. So we can show it in this graph here. So imagine this here is the harm to everyone other than you, and this is the harm to you. The total harm is the horizontal sum of these, right? So without total harm is the vertical sum of these, sorry. Oops, this was drawn. So this is the harm to you, this is the harm to everybody else, this is the total harm to society, right? Then the amount that would be done of smoking without you is this much. The amount of smoking that would be done with you is that much. The harm to everybody other than you of this reduction is that much there. And so that's what you're forced to pay. You're forced to pay that Harburger triangle, which is the harm to everybody else as a result of you having said what you said, rather than saying that it didn't hurt you at all. That's the Vickery-Clark-Groves mechanism. Okay, so this is, if the quantity of smoking is on this axis, and this is the marginal harm / benefit. This is the marginal benefit to the smoker. This is the marginal harm to everyone else, to others. And this is the marginal harm to you. So this is the total harm, total marginal harm. And so when you tell the truth about your harm, you raise the curve to here, and therefore you cause this dead weight loss to everybody else other than you. And that's what you're forced to pay, the harm that you cause to other people. Okay. So, the most common practical application of the Vickery-Clark-Groves mechanism is what's called the second price auction. And Tejas, could you describe what the second price auction is? Look, it's a little bit. Samar, you want to go?
Well, it's like when items are auctioned off and the highest price winner wins, but they pay the second price.
So the second highest bidders.
Yeah, the second highest, it's,
Yeah.
well, the highest bidder wins, but they pay the second highest bid.
Exactly. So everybody bids for the object, and the winner pays the second highest price. And why is this his externality? Yeah, go
I
ahead.
actually have a question about
Yeah.
going back to the theorem. Isn't like